Growing up, I saw a lot of darkness. Some of my relatives in particular, they followed a mixture of New Ageism and what I would term self-created spiritualism, heightened, I'm sure, by their frequent and open drug use. At family reunions, it wasn't uncommon to find one of my uncles passed out, stoned on the couch, while others traipsed off together to get high. I first learned of sex through an instructional book owned by a relative. My memory says he left it on his coffee table, and also through piecing together overheard crude conversations that should never reach a child's ears. Hi, I'm Jennifer Slattery from Holy Love Ministries, and because of my childhood encounters and some of my own behaviors in my late teen years and my early adult years, I feel I have a vivid understanding of Ephesians 5, verse 8, which states, "For you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Lord." As a kid, my elders' actions made me uncomfortable, but I didn't understand why. I didn't realize their behavior was darkness, not until I became an adult and I connected with a local faith community. And suddenly I saw every impure and shameful act, including those I myself had committed, for what they were. And I wonder if that was how the ancient Ephesian believers felt reading Paul's letter. I assume many, if not most of them, had been called straight from paganism, known for its temple prostitution and for its lewd sexual acts, and they had been called to an entirely different life, one of goodness and righteousness and truth. In love, Christ had flooded their lives with light, and they needed to learn to live in that. I wonder if this transition was difficult, if it ever felt confusing. I imagine it took time, maybe a lifetime, for their worldview to shift completely. But that's God's call for all of us, those who come from obviously dark environments like the Ephesians did, or those who come from less obvious but equally unrighteous worlds of works-based religion, as Paul had. Once we've trusted in Christ for salvation, we have crossed over into an entirely new realm, the realm of life and light in all goodness. I'm not sure our culture is all that different from life in ancient Ephesus. When I turn on my television or when I hear snippets of pop songs, it seems people worship sex just as much as the ancient pagan believers did. Surrounded by such sin, it's easy for the lines to blur. It's easy for us to kind of downplay darkness, as if it's just a passing shadow that we can maybe dip our toe in once in a while, but that's not what God calls us to. Nor are we to live deceived by common perception or opinion. We have one role model to follow, one standard to follow, and that's Christ. Light and darkness, they don't mix. We, God's dearly loved children, we become children of love who actively display his radiance to a deceived, dark, and hurting world. In short, our lives should look different because now we are different. May we radiantly display Christ in everything we do, in everything we say, as together we learn to live holy love.